Another returnee making his official grand debut into the modern games, all the way back from 1999, and the rather controversial Season 3 of the anime as well. Those who have watched it will know this particular character very, very well. It is GDR00 Gun Desperado, with a kit of rifle, double anti-air, biped legs, and, quite fittingly, the leg ability of Gunman, which passively buffs the success of all equipped shooting parts on the build. Now, it is really, really nice to see an older returnee make a grand return to the modern games, as well with a new model and a ever so slightly rehashed kit. Rifle, of course, is a very solid conventional skill, can never go wrong with it, especially at 5 shots. On top of that, with a base power very, very close to 1200, makes it a very solid conventional shooting skill, especially with a success stat of almost 1400, so it can generally never go wrong. You almost never miss, no less, with a success rate that high. Anti-air, unfortunately, does kind of hurt overall viability, as it does have a very low base power. However, in the instances where it can be used, it is going to absolutely destroy, and Gun Desperado very quickly becomes a terror to anyone on the field that is using flight legs, with the ×7, if I recall correctly, damage modifier when attacking someone with flight legs with anti-air. Biped legs, of course, generally can't go wrong with. Very high shoot resist stat on top of that. Fairly decent evade stat on the lower tier, a little bit, unfortunately. However, it does have a pretty decent leg ability for any kind of shooter builds, for conventional shooters or for shoot nukers. But it is honestly really nice to see him come back. Pretty decent armor all around. Almost 3,700 for the legs. Even at the cost of low speed, that extra armor is honestly really, really nice. Head at about 3,300 HP also is pretty solid as well. Arms sitting at about 2,700 does make them just a little bit squishy, but not enough to particularly inhibit Gun Desperado's performance on the field. As a pure set score, I'd probably rate him about a 5 out of 10 for the reasons stated above. He is a pretty solid shooter, pretty decently well armored. Some pretty overall solid stats. I can't necessarily say anything against him, but unfortunately, because both his arms are anti-air, it does add a sense of redundancy to his skill set. It also adds a very serious condition requirement in order to make the most of his potential damage output. However, as mixed parts, on the other hand, they are very solid and something very capable, very easily made use of on any build. No heavy part requirement except for the head means that you can use his arms or his legs on just about anything and make good use of them. Having an anti-air part or two raised is actually a pretty solid idea just for the sake of having him, in the sense that you do end up having to go against someone like Crimson King or Utopian, for instance, as 2 examples. Or even Wind Cecil, who makes a recurring pest of herself with ailment attacks. Gun Desperado very quickly will mark an end to those particular threats once he's on the field and he can get a shot fired.